Say when. When?
Tired of these yet?
It doesn't move. Uh, well, first, this has been my first opportunity to thank a lot of people for their support and kindness over the last 6 months. The NBA and its staff was fantastic in reaching out and helping myself and the family work through a difficult situation. The coaches and the players in the league that reached out in so many different ways, whether it was emails or phone or notes. It's indescribable to think about how that helped us through. The fans across the country that we don't even know that wrote, and of course the San Antonio people who were unbelievable in sending notes and making their support known. It was very, very much appreciated and was a huge help. And I want to thank all those people for that magnanimity and kindness.
Did you have an opportunity to speak about Don Newman as well?
Yeah. Do I just keep talking into this and you can hear me, or do I have to?
It's on amplified, but they can hear it.
So I can look at somebody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, Donnie was a special man, and he had a tough road for the last few years, especially the last 3, 4, 5 months. He went through hell, but his wife Shell and his daughters were great in trying to give him all the care that he needed. And we've all, with other coaches, and we've gotten with them, remembered who Donnie was. Sure, he was a competitor, and he was one of those tough guys, but he had a great sense of humor, a great love for people in the game. He was a character in his own right. We cry a little bit and laugh a little bit, and the crying was for obvious reasons, but the laughing was just because he was who he was. When you talk about pick and roll, you'd understand why everybody didn't just double team and blitz every single time, because that was the aggressive way to go. That was Donnie Newman. So we miss him and wish his family the best.
Bob, did anything that you dealt with this summer or recently make you question whether you wanted to come back and put yourself through this again? Did that enter your thinking at all?
No.
You always talk about it's just basketball. Has that hit home more than ever you could have imagined?
Well, it became a whole lot truer, I guess, but I've said it for a lot of years, and I've always meant it. This is a game we play, and it's how we earn our livings, but it's way down the priority list when you think about the short time we have on the planet.
Today, how strange is it to come in here, no Tim, no Tony, no Manu, just a whole bunch of new faces, and you walk in this.
It's in one way it's a little bit melancholy because I've been with them for so long, and at the same time it's a great opportunity for a new challenge and new energy, a different route, different perspective, and seeing all the the new faces that we have to try to put together will make it a real interesting and, as I said, challenging year, but in a good way.
You know them all their names, everything.
Well, I figured out that Bryn Forbes is not Bryn Mawr, and I'm going to continue to try to do a good job from there. But I really don't know all the names.
What's exciting you about the possibilities of what DeMar will add? He just said that for the first time in his career, his shots probably going to come a little bit easier in the system that's here. Have you started to imagine ways?
I don't know why he said that, because we're only going to play him at the defensive end. We're not throwing him the ball. I forgot to tell him that, but you guys can go ahead and tell him so he knows.
DeJounte said that he's going to take that challenge of being more of a vocal leader, and especially in the locker room. Is that an important step for him, especially now that the vets are gone, the big three? Manu was the guy who usually came out and told it how it was when the team was struggling, when they weren't. He wants to take that role on.
Yeah, you know, he's gonna have a lot of things he's gonna have to try to do very quickly. But luckily he's got, you know, some vets there like LaMarcus and Patty to lean on in that regard. So what he's got to be able to do is run the show well, but he doesn't have to think about all the philosophical things and the psychology of the team. You know, we'll take care of that along with some of the older players. He's got a lot on his plate, just running the show, and that's what we want from him more than anything to begin with. And the leadership part that'll grow as the years go by.
Speaking of Patty, you're going to rely on him more for that corporate knowledge that's missing now?
Well, sure. You know, Patty in LA, they know what's going on here. You know, Patty's been here the longest, but they understand exactly how we're going to put things together, and they know what the process is. So some other people will figure that out. You know, Bryn's been here a couple years now, and Marco was already here. So, you know, Powell's been here a few years. So that's not going to be that tough. I think more than anything, it's figuring out, we've got a lot of flexibility, so who's going to play where and who's going to play together, and when are you going to be big and when are you going to be small, and what combinations work the best. We don't have answers for any of that yet, so that's what we'll be concentrating on.
Marcus kind of pointed out earlier when people asked him about this being a transition year, that last year, in fact, was the transition year because you did have to move from kind of Kawhi to not Kawhi. Do you see that kind of in retrospect, and that could have been a transition year, and this can be building on that?
Yeah, you know, I thought the team did a great job winning 47 games last year, considering everything. So we just like to build from that. And we're adding a talent like DeMar, so that we didn't have last year. So we're excited about it, and the goal will be the same as it has been every year. We want to be the best team we can be as playoffs roll around. You know, get into the playoffs and do the best job we can.
He said DeMar said he's only seen Angry Pop on TV. A few players have warned him about what to expect. Is that he's just going to have to figure it out himself?
That hurts me.
I'm just saying what he told me, what he said.
It hurts me. Our relationship is not starting off well, I guess. I guess I have more work to do than I thought.
On that note, is there more work for you? You've built the system for 20 years and always had guys to lean on. Is there more for you to do when Manu and Tony and people like that aren't around anymore?
I haven't done anything for a long time, so it's not going to be any different. I got a great staff. They do most of the work, and I try to make a decision here and there.
We talk about losing Tony and Manu and Tim, but how important is Danny going to be that role that he's always filled for you since now gone?
Yeah, I think, people probably don't realize, Kyle and Danny both were two of the best defenders on the team. So I'm more worried about defense than I am anything because of those guys being gone. They did a great job in that regard. And Danny got rewarded, wasn't he? Second team, all defense, whatever it was. So that's something we'll have to replace and find out who's capable of doing that, for sure. That's a big part of what we have to get done.
What drew you guys to signing Dante Cunningham?
He's a veteran. He's a pro. He plays aggressively. He can play some defense. He can score. He's been with other programs, and he'll add another player who's been around and understands how this works.
DeJounte said he watched hours of tape this summer. I think he said he watched the whole season over.
And you believed him.
Is DeJounte a liar? What do you hope he takes from that sort of study and what he's been doing?
He really wants to be good. He really wants to be to the team what Tony was to the team. And I'm confident he'll do that as time goes on. But, if he watched that much film all summer, it'll help give him a picture. But, the improvement is really made out on the court when somebody's in front of you and trying to keep you from doing what you want to do. That's when you figure it out and you get better. But he's up for the challenge. We're going to let him run, take advantage of his athleticism, and people will have to respond to that. I mean, our other players, they're going to have to run like they never had to run before because he's going to go. And if they want to get the ball, they're going to have to run with him.
Did you tell Powell? He's going to have to run with DeJounte.
You're such a wise ass.
It's the first day.
Powell, run. See, is that him?
Yeah,
That's him.
that's it.
I haven't seen him for 3 months, so I don't know.
When Manu said that opponent's his decision, he spoke to you, you tried to talk him out of it. You thought a little bit longer, but when you realized it was final and that this was the move that he was going, what was that feeling?
It was a sort of a complicated thing because when you're dependent upon someone for that long a time for a lot of different reasons, not just his play on the court, but just his combination of understanding people, being as curious as he was about everybody on the team and everything in the world, whether it's politics, religion, didn't matter what it was. He was like a partner in that respect, talking on buses and airplanes. And so that's going to be gone. So once I realized he wasn't going to play anymore, we've been talking with him about, hanging around and being at practices now and then whenever he feels like it, like Timmy. We actually took him on our coaches retreat this last week. And so he spent time with us trying to develop the strategy for the season. So we want to keep him around as much as we can, just like Timmy. And Matt Bonner, but we don't listen to Matt. We just tell him to do his jokes.
How rewarding was it to see Monty get back?
You're
into
asking
the
too
game?
many questions.
Lonnie Walker says that he's had dinner with you a couple of times. How's that been? How those conversations gone?
It's been good. I always enjoy it. I always like to see what guys are used to eating and what they've never eaten in their lives before. But he's very inquisitive, and he's been a little bit. Who's the guy on? I'm embarrassed. I don't know. Channel 277, the Food Network. What the guy? Travel Channel. What is it?
Anthony.
No, not Anthony. Never mind. Yeah, Anthony Bourdain. That's a different topic. That's a tough one. But yeah.
Midterm elections coming up.
Yeah, I hope you don't say anything stupid.
Only what you tell me to say.
It'll be interesting. Every day is interesting. You don't have to wait for the midterms. It's interesting
the
every
names
day.
and faces have clearly changed in large fashion. The way the team looks, the way it plays, the way it operates, does that stay the same as it's always been, or does that change some of it as well?
If I understand your question, the principles of how we do things or what the process usually is will probably stay the same, but there are tweaks every year, whether it's a tweak on offense or defense or administratively. This group of guys might want to do something a little bit differently as far as travel is concerned. So we want to make sure that we're all on the same page and all the little things as much as what we do on the court. When a game ends in California, do you stay there and leave the next morning, or do you leave then and get back at 4 or 5 in the morning? What's the druthers of the group? There'll be a lot of questions like that we'll have to get answers to so that these guys feel comfortable. But in general, the standards are the same as far as what we expect. So.
A year ago, you said about LaMarcus and how you tried to change him, and that was a mistake. Do you take any of those lessons and apply it with how to incorporate DeMar into this system, into this team?
Sure, absolutely. DeMar's he's already an all-star, and he plays a certain way. So there'll be some things that we'll try to add to his game if he's willing. But I'm not going to jump on him like I did L.A. I tried to turn L.A. into John Havlicek.
In the little we've gotten to.
I think I confused him.
In the little we've got to talk to DeMar, and I guess Lonnie too. He has some of that Manu to him in terms of being inquisitive and wanting to know about things. Have you seen that from him?
Yeah, Lonnie has already shown he's got a really he's intellectually oriented, let's say that. He really wants to know about things. He's got a wide berth of knowledge about the world, about people. So in some ways he reminds me of Manu in that regard. And on the court, some of the helter-skelter is a little bit like Manu also, so that'll be interesting.
Are you planning on following the same, when you guys draft guys, you usually send them up to G League a lot in Austin. You still following that course with Lonnie?
Well, we'll see. Maybe Lonnie comes out and he's better than anybody else on the team. Then it would be unwise to send him to Austin. So everybody's, we got a blank slate. As far as new guys are concerned, it's up to them to. I always talk to them about, it's your job to make me play you. If you want to play, make me play you. Make it so that I'm an idiot if I don't have you on the court. You got to do that. I can't do that for you. So we'll see what they do.
What is Brent Berry's role? I don't know what the vice president of basketball operations does personally. What is his role?
Lunch. He goes to lunch. He brings me coffee. No, I don't do anything. Brent, he's going to be a liaison in a lot of ways between the G League, the front offices, of the ATT Center and here, making sure that everything is copacetic. But what we'll value even more than that is his incisive nature to the game. He's really intelligent, as we all know, but he really understands people, and I think he's going to be a great judge of talent, and I'm going to depend on him for that, as will RC. He's got a great sense of humor, so it'll be fun having him around, and with all that, he's going to become a very valuable part of what we do.
Good to see Monty get back on the sidelines with Brett.
Oh yeah, Brett was looking for another assistant, and Monty was the obvious choice, and he was pretty hungry. He's in all our coaches' meetings all year long, and he just wanted to get back in the saddle for sure. So it's a great fit for him to be in Philly with Brett.
At this coaches retreat, did Manu come up with the idea that's going to save the whole franchise, going to turn everything around?
I think so. He wanted to know, I think, no less than 14 things that I do, and he wanted to know why I did them. But he thought they were baloney the whole time he was here. But he was too respectful to say anything.
So now
so the whole thing is going to change. So, no, he was a great addition because he was smart enough to listen in the beginning. It's like a new job in a way. You listen and you figure out the lay of the land, and he did that. And then as it went along, and we got to dinner on the first day, he started to open up, and by the second, third, fourth day, he was right in the middle of arguing about everything. So it was great to have him because his insights are so good.
Send Boris a bottle of wine for his retirement?
Yeah, Boris, I'm expecting him to come back when he runs out of money paying for that. when he can't pay for that boat anymore, he's going to want to come back.
I'm just happy you could retire so we can finally relax.
Exactly. Yeah. He's been relaxed for a long time. Okay. Take care. Welcome back. Good to see you all.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.